All right. Good morning, everybody, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. It's so good to see you. We're starting right on time today. Little Apollo, wishing you much love, and me as well. So I always love these this isn't an impromptu formally, it's a bonus reading, but it's going to be following sort of that impromptu format where we look at whatever we need to look at. And so today it basically is even titled What You Need to Know Today. So where a lot of my readings are very much future focused, today we're going to be looking at the energy right here, right now, and we'll be going through a lot of different topics. I'll do a little bit of some channel messages at the beginning, but we're going to really focus on what the cards show us and where that takes us. So I'm going to put down my little furry assistant so we can begin. Thanks, buddy. And we'll begin. All right, he's going to dig in his bed for a second. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ashbaugh. I don't really have a card to show the format for today, so why don't we start by just saying if you want to stay in touch with me and know if I do additional videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. We just hit a milestone. I think I'm going to do the Q&A next week. I'll probably do it like Wednesday or Thursday, so either the last day of the month or the first day of the next month. And I've already opened that up to members and Patreon supporters, so thank you for helping me reach I call them mini milestones if we do it every 25, so I'll probably do something special on the quarter milestones just so that we can chat more often. It takes a while to get to the bigger ones, and I want to have more Q&A and more access and connection with you guys. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming next week. Good way to do that is to subscribe. You can also follow me across social media. It's always my first and last name. No spaces, no special characters, no numbers, no backup accounts. There's a lot of folks out there that try to pretend to be me, but remember, it's just that. Twitter being the exception because of character limits. So everything that I just said is basically here. I don't offer private readings. I don't use direct messages. If you don't see the account listed on my official website, it's not me. So I get a lot of questions. Are you messaging me? No, I am not. So thank you so much for all of you that keep me posted when those fake accounts pop up. If you do want to show support, you can do it in real time. I mentioned memberships and Patreon as a way to connect. I try to give perks like being able to ask questions for those Q&As. And then I may be doing some more member-only chats. I did that once this past month, and that was successful, so we'll see. Anyway, you can also give a super sticker or super chat, or if you watch it on replay, super thanks. Okay, so today is really cool. We're just going to go with the flow, basically. And I'm going to start with some channel messages because I did receive them last night. So we'll keep it brief since we're going to go and look at a lot of different energies today. But let's get into the presentation, and I'll talk about the two main things that I picked up on in dreams this morning because they were pretty clear, and I kept seeing the same, particularly the school dream, but I realize it's back to school time for a lot of you. All right, so let me just clear this out. Okay, so basically two things here. I saw movement. I was watching what looked like a jet stream, basically air moving across the globe, and then most of this morning, I saw myself going to school, going to classes, going to school, meeting friends, and we'll talk about all of that. So first things first, let's look at the jet streams or air streams. They are currents of air above the earth. Basically, they occur because the sun heats up the earth unevenly. The tropical regions getting more of that, the polar regions not as much. Causes movement on the globe, and it's fast. That's basically the lay terms here without me having to read every single fact. But it is really fast. If we do read the speeds, they can go from 129 to 225 kilometers per hour to up to 443 sometimes. So that's pretty fast, and that's like 275 miles per hour. So faster than most of our forms of transportation. I thought it was interesting because it's the element of air, which is action, which is communication. And it represents the ability for word to travel fast. So one thing you want to be mindful of in in real life, because I was seeing this in dreams, was you want to be careful of gossip. You want to be careful of who you talk to about what, because there is a capacity for both good and not so good energies to kind of travel quickly when it comes to communication. So let's elevate it and use it for the positive and do what we can to really embrace this quick moving energy. And also this is showing right in this moment in time the ability for you to see some traction on anything that you decide to invest some energy into. So Movement is happening quickly at this point. And when we look at like high and low pressure, I always say like going with the energetic flow usually leads you in the right direction. When you're pushing against something that doesn't make sense, sometimes the universe is trying to help you go on to something newer, better, and brighter. So be open to where you're being guided. I think it'll be interesting as we look at the cards today, where that movement should be. All right, next slide. Clearing your mind. Even though this is cups, it's also one of the weird cups cards that's in the air. Literally, you see this person trying to decide what to do. So distraction is the only thing that can kind of bring you out of your magic. And we actually pulled the Magician for today when I was doing my daily read, Magician reversed. And so lack of focus or focusing on the wrong thing, I talked about that in a previous reversed Magician. Today it was also about saying no and really kind of clearing your schedule, clearing your mind, and avoiding unnecessary distractions. You know what to do. There's such a thing as over-analysis. That's actually the next slide that I want to talk about. You can overthink, over-worry, over-prepare. There comes a point where you just need to put it to rest, start the new day with a fresh mind, and take that first step in the right direction. Your heart knows what to do. Your third eye knows what to do. So today we really want to look at moving rather than being stuck in this phase. We want to wrap this one up and take some sort of a movement towards whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life. Now on to the fun stuff. So without even really knowing that we're kind of entering into back to school time, because it's a lot earlier than it used to be when I went to school. Many kids are already in school. But I saw myself and I saw other people sort of like in getting ready for lessons. So non-traditional students is what we would call this, but basically an older student going back and finishing up something. So this could be a literal thing where some of you have just decided to finish up a degree. Maybe you took a break to travel or have a family, or you just lost interest and now you're interested again, or you're deciding to do something different at a different point in your life. I got this sense of like excitement and interest and vigor and anticipation. It's fun, especially the older you get. If you invest in something and decide you want to learn, you really know the importance of how much it costs to do it, how much this is going to help you. And I think sometimes we go to school at the wrong time in our lives. We need it because our brains are developing and we can absorb a lot more. But the interest level and the understanding and the contextual sort of like ability to bring in the learning and understand how it applies to real life is gone. It's not there when you're, below 20 years old. You understand it on some levels, but until you've gone through major life hurdles, it's like it hits much deeper. So I think sometimes when you go to school in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, it can be even more enriching because, and when I say beyond, I mean like you could go back to school at 60, 70, 80. It's never too late to do something that really kind of excites you. So we're the eternal student. And that cycle of going through the Fool all the way up to the World card and back to the Fool, that keeps happening. But the Fool gets wiser. He eventually becomes like the Hermit, like a wizard. And may look young, but isn't young anymore. There's this sort of deep connection of energy there. So do something for expansion in your life that gets you excited, that gets you wanting to get up in the morning. And it doesn't matter what other people think. This could also indicate a karmic lesson. So I've seen this before for myself, not just for others, where there's this idea of being in a class, and sometimes you'll see a partner. And I had a really amazing dream once with someone that was really difficult in my life, and we were sitting in a circle, and I looked at this person across the circle, and they kind of nodded at me, and they walked up, and because I was just starting to learn tarot, this was amazing, but they walked up to the wall, and they pulled a card, and it was the Death card, and then they walked through the door. And that was it. We actually, at that point, I've never had contact with that person again. Karmically, they left my life, and that's what the Death card can indicate too, is transformation. Judgment as well, because there was a decision. We both decided enough. We learned what we needed to. And there was a little bit of respect to, I understood that they were there as an agitator. I had a recent agitator at my last place that I lived where, there was no cooperation. And I've seen this person in the astral plane. And I understand that that's the role that they played. So sometimes people come in to push us. And the universe will make them as difficult as as we need them to be in order to get us to the next level. So you may be dealing with someone like that. And so this could be an ex-lover, this could be an ex-coworker, a friend, a family member, and you're just deciding now, I want to move on. Our relationship is now either dissolving or it's evolving into something clearer, cleaner, and probably a lot less involved. So I do see like this sort of karmic graduation for many of you, and it's a good thing. So you're now going back to school and deciding, what else can I learn? What else is there, for me? This lesson is done. So as we look at cards today, I do want to look at relationships. In particular, we might actually start off with relationships. I don't always do that on this channel. I think that would be nice today. So let's begin with that. I think that's a nice segue into the cards here. So, all right, let me just get this focused. We're going to pull specifically, let's start first with those of you in a relationship. Actually, I'd like to look at the difficult thing first. So for anybody that's in a karmic relationship, and this could be just you have this really intense feeling with someone and you're trying to resolve something. So there's a karmic lesson, there's a deep sort of energy, and there's a need for resolution. Let's pull 3 cards for like how you can get through this difficult period or this lesson and what the future holds for you. I think that's really important. We've all been there at some point. So for those of you that are going through something, let's look at that and see what the lesson is. We've got an extra card that wants to come out here. Okay, it's all around trust issues here. So right now, the big challenge for some of you is all about where do you stand here? We have a commitment card here with the 3 of Cups. So the 3 of Cups in the present energy is, for some of you, third parties have been entering in. It could be legitimately someone who just maybe had an affair or talked to someone else and your confidence was sort of somehow breached. This could also be a family member that's trying to come in between you and someone that you love. We see third parties playing an important role, somewhat distracting in basically what you need to be focusing on. So my advice would be take the other person out of the equation and start to focus back on what it is about this person that we're talking about, your karmic partner here, that we need to focus on. The main thing that I see, we got double trust cards, is I think there's a lot of trust issues popping up. So the Moon card has to do with things that you've noticed that you should talk about, maybe things that have gone, left unsaid. But the 7 of Swords talks to us, this was the one that kind of stuck to it, about what it is. Sometimes this person lacks accountability. They've said they were going to do things and they didn't do things. And the main thing right now, the thing that they've taught you, is the importance of honesty, transparency, and accountability. And once you've kind of learned and understood those lessons, this person doesn't need to be there anymore. When we go into the past, I think a lot of you understood and saw and recognized this pattern long before it presented itself. There was a hope and a desire that maybe the pattern wouldn't continue, but it did. So for those of you that have been going through a difficult karmic situation, trust your instincts and know that it's okay to speak up against whatever's been going on. It does feel like there's just been someone who said they were going to do something and just didn't do it. This is kind of funny. I see someone laughing at it. So the 7 of Swords, we see someone at this point in time calling out what this is. It's like, I've had enough. So that bird is saying, I see you, I see what you're doing, and it's not going to work anymore. We need to talk. So listen to your inner voice, and then if you need to speak up, I think there comes a time where there has to be a conversation there. So that's one element that I'm picking up on. Let me see if there's one more piece of advice for where or how this might evolve into the future, out of curiosity. High Priestess, whatever you want to make of it at this point. So if you're done with someone, you can be done with them. If you want to try to heal it, you can. The interesting thing with this High Priestess, you can actually see her eyes popping through the eyelids there. So what's kind of interesting as you start to intuitively develop is people can't fool you. And you see intentions. It may come in just an inner knowing. It may come through a flash of intuition. It could come in dreams like it does with me a lot of times. And And then it's a decision, what am I going to do about what I see? So you can't unsee what you've seen, and you can try to do whatever you'd like to in the future with this relationship. But what I'm sensing for many of you, if you're easing out of something, is that it's for the better. There's something better awaiting you. So that's what I'm picking up on for some of those karmic relationships. And the main thing here is sometimes we just don't listen to ourselves, or we try to talk ourselves in or out of something, and that is not always, it's not always the best thing to do, but we all have had that happen from time to time. All right, let's focus on some different energies around relationships. I'm going to look at those of you that are in a relationship right now, or those that might be seeking one, and we'll take a look at those. Let me just pull a different card for this, or different deck for this, and see what's coming through. Okay, so we'll use the Sun and Moon deck. We have a new moon coming up on the weekend, I believe. I may do one of my shorter videos on that, maybe like a 7-minute one if I have time. It's been a busy week, but let's see. All right, so focusing on those of you that are currently in a relationship, we're not looking just at karmic ones. This is going to be the person that you focus or connect to the most. It can be romantic, or it can be just a close relationship. So interestingly enough, we still got some of that karmic energy coming through. This was exactly the card that I would expect. It's what I talked about, the death card, right? All right, so for those of you in a current relationship, we have Empress energy coming through first. Issues and energies around control. So the Empress card can come through. For those of you that might be thinking about a parent, for instance, or even your partner, it's a control card. And a lot of times this person doesn't know when to step back and let you do what you need to do. Their desire and intention is to help, but sometimes the way that they kind of execute on that isn't ideal, because they step in and question your abilities. Are you sure you're doing this? Is everything done? And a lot of times they will question if you have used good logic, like, well, I don't know if I would have done that, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's this constant inner questioning that can be exhausting sometimes for you. So the Empress card coming through to validate basically the need to separate a bit from that, and the understanding that you can do this, even if that person doesn't see that. The Death and Rebirth card. This was like I was talking about, sitting in the circle, seeing the Death card. So when the Death card comes up in this type of reading, it's saying this role is done, that you don't need that. And sometimes you have to communicate this to that person. So especially a parent, as you get older, you could say, I appreciate the feedback, but I am an adult and I can make my own decisions, and I'll ask you if I need feedback. And you can put some boundaries down. It's a tough conversation to have at some point, but if you have to have it, you have to have it. Same thing with even your partner saying, this is something I want to do. I give you space for this. You need to give me space for this. It's putting a limit on this and saying, stop so that I can go into this. Allow me to prove my worth and allow me to experience this. Otherwise, you're holding me back. So in an existing relationship, there's a little bit of a power tug of war, and you can have a lot softer of a conversation with your partner. You could just say, hey, I know you're passionate about this, but I really want to give this a shot. This is something that I want to try. Let me do this. I do think it's important to have a little bit of authority in it and say, I'm going to champion this, or I'm going to take this on. And, all I'm asking for is support. So I think if you do that, good things can happen. Some of you may also be dealing with rapid change in your life. So the Death card can indicate a change in career, change in status. So this can be moving in, moving out. This can also be a death in the family or change of job, some big major shift in your life. And it might change the dynamics of the relationship, like who's holding down the fort, who's paying the bills, who's doing more of the sort of nurturing energy. And that's not a bad thing. We take turns at that. What's cool, though, is there's still chemistry between the two of you. The Magician is a card showing mutual attraction. There's still an ability to create great things together, but basically being able to establish control and authority and move past difficulty or change is going to be pivotal in this next phase. It's again, kind of whatever you make it. Notice how both of your future states were the manifestation cards. Magician and High Priestess are pretty equal at manifestation. So I think that you guys can do whatever you'd like to, and I like to see this here. But something has to shift or change in current relationships. Also, this is karmic. This is past life. This can be a soulmate that's in your life. And so this is great, but what you're supposed to do this lifetime is to move into a different energy. It's not about repeating the lessons from the past. It's about experiencing new messages and new lessons in the future here. So looks like it's manageable. It's just these two things that you have to focus on. I like that we ended with the Magician though. Let's use the same deck, same cards, shuffle them, and let's focus on those of you that are single and looking, and then I'll look at the people that are single and happy. All right, if you are trying to find a partner or love in your life, let's see if there's any work you need to do on yourself, and let's see if there's anybody that's coming in. Okay, so the interesting thing in the past is this focusing on what isn't there. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If you're single, you focus on the fact that there's an absence of something. And sometimes if you don't see it, you start to think it's not here, it won't happen, it's not possible. I like to say a lot in my readings, just because it's not in front of you doesn't mean it's not attainable, doesn't mean that something can't or won't happen. It's only when we start to push into the energy, that feeling that it won't, or I'm not worth it, or something's wrong, that it perpetuates and continues. So perhaps you weren't ready, perhaps you weren't clear, because this is a lack of clarity, and perhaps you weren't looking in the right place or at the right time. So this is just about opening up to all possibilities, and also sometimes just going for it, taking the blindfolds off and saying, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna take one of these swords and go down this path and see what happens. I do see an energy presenting itself right now. We have the Page of Swords. Someone wants to start a conversation with you. And it could be a little bit, the card is kind of flirty and coy, but there could be someone who is not completely comfortable asking you out. So they could make up an excuse, like they need some computer advice, or they want you to look at their car, or some sort of random advice where you're like, couldn't you just look at that on YouTube or something like that, or TikTok, and find some information? But there's someone out there who is trying to start up a conversation with you, and I get the sense that it could be beating around the bush a little bit, rather than just saying, do you want to grab a coffee? Or are you free tomorrow? Because that takes a lot of guts sometimes, to just be willing to put yourself out there. So they're testing the waters a little bit and seeing if they can carry on a longer conversation with you. So there could be someone that's trying to drop a hint. Because the Page is a good communicator, and they're trying to use communication to do so. There could also be a younger air sign in your life, or a sort of freer spirit, is what I'm getting with this, that's coming through, and you can kind of sort out if that's what you're looking for. In the future, if you're not happy with that particular connection, I get a more controlling card. Control is being basically a common theme here as I'm looking at relationships. So the Strength card in reverse reads very much like the Empress in reverse. Both divine feminine energies, both really strong, and both, this one in particular actually is more, the other one reads more like a parental energy, or maybe a partner, but this one can be someone who's trying to get you to agree with something that you don't agree with. There's definitely this idea of they're trying to control thoughts or push you to make an action happen. They're a little pushy. So what you want to make sure, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Strength upright. This is a fantastic person and, you know, great partner. But Strength reverse, like the Empress reverse, is someone who is testing your limits, your boundaries, your authority. So you really want to focus right now in this moment in time, because that's, again, the title, what you need to know today. I would say focusing on self-esteem, self-confidence, and speaking up. The more you can do all of this, the more you're going to attract an upright Strength card, possibly a Leo, right? So that's what I would start to do. And if there is someone that comes into your life and they are a little pushy and whatnot, then you want to find that internal voice and test it and see if it will last when you speak up a little bit. So if you're looking for someone that will make decisions or take care of you, or kind of like call the shots, that's the kind of energy that this person would be, but it's a little pushy. And so I'm getting the indecision from the past and some of the shy energy here. So I think working on communication and confidence will help you avoid bringing in someone that is too pushy, or too decisive and doesn't allow you a chance to sort of put your 2 cents in, okay? So that's what I'm getting for single and looking. One other thing, the strength card can also be about you, and it's saying focus on physical and mental well-being, take some time off, focus on exercise, of course, working with your doctor and whatnot for that. But across the board, pretty good, and I am seeing at least one, if not two, people on the horizon, okay? This tends to carry with it a number 1 or 10, so I would say within the next couple of weeks, if that person isn't already here, or maybe on the 10th of next month or something, but pretty soon this energy is approaching. Okay, let's go ahead now and focus on those that are single and happy. Again, I'll use the same deck, all the same cards. Sometimes people get upset if I don't allow for all the cards to be present for each of those different reads, so I'm doing that for this. Okay, so single and happy, any notes or messages around potential friends or partners that might be coming in? The irony is it's usually more attractive, and I see that here, like the Sun card is already more magnetic because you're not focusing on it. So here's what's coming through in your life. I definitely get that it's more developmental for you, so that makes sense. 4 of Pentacles is a foundational card. Again, notice how power is coming up time and again today. So what this one is basically focusing on is not limiting yourself, kind of like by what we see with the 2 of Swords like we saw earlier. Normally that 4th coin would be right in front of the heart and the person would be holding on to it. In this one, we see it more foundationally. It's on the 4 corners. But the main message here is this is a beginning, not the end. This is just part of the pie, not the entire thing. So ask for more. Don't overextend. Push back if something's unrealistic. That's what the 4 of Pentacles teaches us. And let go of things that don't serve you anymore. And in the future, we see more coming in. The Prince of Pentacles in reverse actually, to me, can indicate you deciding to, kind of like what I talked about at the beginning, go back to school or decide to take some of your existing resources and invest them in yourself. So this one is saying when it comes to those of you that might be in a current job, underpaid, underappreciated, underrepresented. So trying to take this charisma and power and go forth a little bit more. We want to get you at least to the 6 of Pentacles. So it feels like you're giving away some energy or holding back a little bit. Okay. So I do see a potential person coming in here as well with the Prince of Pentacles. We are again getting sort of like a control vibe with that. It could be a Taurus with the bull there. And so it's a little bit of a tug of war across all of the different relationships. So I like that it's consistent because it seems like that's something that we can all focus on is where do I stand? Where is my limit? How do I feel about what is being said, done, or pushed forward? Okay. All right, let's take a look at something else. Let me just pull a different deck. I'll keep going to the side and grabbing different decks as we're doing this. Okay, so for the next thing, actually, let's just pull a single card and see what the universe wants us to focus on. So I'm going to get the subject from the tarot card, and then we'll dig deeper. Ironically and interestingly enough, we've got the 4 of Pentacles, which I just highlighted. So we can see the moth in the background, which is saying, I'm ready to get out of this phase. So let's pull some cards on this one. I feel like this might be worthy. I don't know. We'll keep going through different topics. If I go into a Celtic cross, it'll be probably too much. So we'll do that maybe at the end. But right now, let's focus on small topics as they come through. So I'm going to get a past card and a future card to tell us how to work with this. It's very similar. It's very similar with this. So this is about going back to school or investing in yourself because now we have a king instead of what did we have before, a prince, so a knight. So it's almost identical. It's kind of funny. Like you can keep pulling cards but get the same thing. Emotions are important. That sense of excitement that I was picking up on in dreams comes through pretty loud and clear here. So I think that the important thing for you to help you get from this to this, because we want the King of Pentacles for you. We want the power, we want the abundance. Beautiful illustration, by the way. We want you to feel like you can do this, okay? So the key to that was the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is passion, optimism, looking at the sunny side of the equation, and we can see that sort of psychedelic sun all around her. And if you can do that, then you're going to be able to get through this. I try, you know this enough because you've watched many of my readings, most of you. I try to find what you can embrace, what you can learn. I'm not like just overly positive, but I try to find the thing that's going to help us get to the next level. I do think there is always something that you can look at and be grateful and embrace. And there is always that sort of positive energy in any movement, even something that's difficult. And once you can feel that, then it's easier to let go. And that's the key thing here. So I'm going to change the question now so that we can get some more specificity. I'm going to say, help us understand how to let go and how to get more, so that we can get to the King of Pentacles. You can do this. It's interesting. I normally don't reuse the same deck and the same cards, but interesting that this came in the same spot. So the main thing here with the Ace of Swords in reverse is saying, if you don't ask, you'll never know if you can get it. And what I see here in the deep past with the Ten of Pentacles, we've got the two peacocks, we have the family, basically saying there's room for more than one star to shine here. And all you kind of have to do is, kind of like a peacock would, raise up all of its plumes. You have to show that you're interested. You have to show that you're serious, and you have to speak up and say, this is what I want. And that leads the path towards this. So the universe in this moment in time is looking for a little bit more decisive and authoritative and sort of like excited energy. If you can push that out a little bit, then people start to react to it. It's not in the sort of like demanding and in your face sort of thing. It's just more, I'm really interested in this, or I would like to do this, or let's do this. It's that sort of decisive energy. As Apollo starts to dig into his bed, he's like, yes, let's do it. You've got this. All right. So let's go to a different spread here and see. I usually look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We've covered love. We've covered money to some degree here because we're looking at that. So why don't we take a look at just a general spread here and see if there's what's going on in your lives at the moment. Okay, so we use the field tarot for this one. Okay, so much like I was picking up on in my channeled messages, we have the Six of Swords here, which is showing movement and rapid movement. I was talking about the jet stream and how quickly things can move. A lot of this can come from like that Ace of Swords moment where you decide to ask for something or apply to a program or whatever. The minute you send something off, I see a very quick return on the energy of that. And the other thing here, we've got the Page of Wands here, is this would be kind of, we have walking the walk and talking the talk here. So showing up and showing your interest as well is a key piece of this. Have you noticed almost every single time for the past 3 times I've gotten a page or a king here, and it's always pentacles. So there's something exciting happening right now. Today especially, since this is all about today. So if you are interested in asking someone out, if you want to apply for a job, if you want to apply to a school, a program, get it started today. If not, like completely send it out into the ethers. This is the moment to put it out there. So let's expand this one into a full Celtic cross and see what additional messages we can get from this, because I keep getting this and I want to understand the full story, and we're only going to get the full story if we do the full Celtic cross. So expanding upon all things that you need to see today, and then I'll open it up to the room for some things that you guys might be going through. But let's just get a full spectrum understanding of what's going on here. And it's interesting, we're going to see some of the same cards here. All right, I'll pull a catalyst with this, but I'm not going to expand it since we've technically already expanded the forecast with some of the other stuff. So, wow. Okay, so we have the vessel card here, which can be both, we're showing like the human body as a vessel, but we're also seeing the Six of Swords. So this is movement from the past, and this is the karmic energy that we were talking about at the beginning. This is also saying you've come into this life to experience something different. You're moving beyond that. To me, I can also read the vessel as like the human channel that we all are, that we're able to kind of pull in energy from the universe and connect it to this planet. So you definitely are showing up in that way of being able to channel, being a vessel for love and light. We see the sun behind this person. We see them almost existing within a cup there, like an Ace of Cups almost. And so there's this energy of creation that's coming through. Whatever was. Leave it in the past. It isn't right now. It isn't the future. It isn't indicative of all that will be. So I like this energy quite a bit for you. Let's look at the deep past here. So, well, actually, I'll start in the center. We missed a card. So, Page of Wands and the Page of Swords. So this is exactly what I was picking up on. Thank you, universe. So this is talk the talk and this is walk the walk. So basically following up and saying and doing what you said you were going to say and do. So accountability would be another way to phrase this, coming through loud and strong. It feels like, and I pulled it first before I pulled the crossing card. The Page of Wands came through basically to remind us that our ideas are worth investing in, that sometimes we have to just sort of like show that something's possible before someone is willing to say, okay, I'll sign on the dotted line. So appealing to all different types. Some people need data, some people need existing sort of like examples of something to be won over. So maybe using that or just showing them a proof of concept. This is very much for those of you that might be in business. It feels like there's an energy of people needing a little bit more confidence, and sometimes you just got to do it and then come back and say, all right, I've done it. Look, see, it's possible. Or you ask for forgiveness later after it's already successful. There's that need to kind of push it out there because I see hesitation around you. And if you're also, the hesitation could come from a partner where you know you can do something, but they don't believe in you. Just do what you believe you can do, and once you've done it, they're going to know the difference, and they may not argue in the future about what's possible. So there's something like that that could also be coming through. Let's look at the deep past, which is what I was going to focus on before I realized we needed that center card. So this is the sister to the Seven of Swords. We've got the Five of Swords here. Five of Swords is basically understanding that there are some things that you cannot win, some things that are not worth the time. You're asked to kind of rise above that situation if possible. With the Five of Swords, the other thing that I would say is we can talk ourselves into something we shouldn't do. So there may have been an example of you taking a job, entering into a relationship, or entering into a contract where you knew at the beginning that wasn't what you wanted, but somehow the inner voice argued that let's do this. Basically that's from society, that's from parents, and we want to take some of that programming and pull it out. Today is a big movement day. The day that you're watching this is what you need to know today. We see the Six of Swords. Things are already happening, and they'll happen faster when you decide to sort of like move with that energy. And then the crowning card, it's come up so many times today. Some form of it, Strength or Empress. So Empress in reversed yet again. And then we have a Page of Coins yet again in the future. We've had Pages, Knights, and Kings. We've got just about every one of this suit. So the cool thing for you is all of this is great and nice, but the whole purpose of this is you're supposed to be moving into something new, and it will grow pretty quickly. It will happen pretty fast as soon as you decide, I want this, I'm ready for this, I deserve this. Okay? Eight of Cups, making and breaking a cycle. Here's the cool thing. If you start something right now, it has a good chance of sticking. So with that, I would say it's kind of, for some of you, just a level of committing to it, believing that I can do this, right? And if you can put that energy of belief in there, then things are going to be so much better for you. So I know it's easier said than done, but today, if you can just Believe in your potential and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start this is going to be great. I see great return on that. Some of you may need a sabbatical. The Eight of Cups is a break from something. So sometimes in order to begin, we need to decide like, all right, I'm going to stop this for a bit and I'm going to try this out over here. I'm not sure if I'm ready full on for this until I take a break. So vacation, holiday, sabbatical, or full on quitting, but maybe the door is open if you want to come back. I see that movement as well for you. In the environment, we have the Boss card, the Queen of Wands. She's reversed, so this is a very bold version of the Queen of Wands. One thing that you want to do is keep an open mind and remember that if there is that bossy energy around you, because we see it here in your headspace, we see it here in the environment, you have that energy. You just have to sort of feel the freedom to speak up or be more yourself. And I think that's the big opportunity right now, is to be able to invest in yourself and feel like you can do this, feel like the boss, basically. You're also being asked to choose between two situations or two resources with the Two of Coins. I always remind people, Two of Swords, Two of Coins, there's always an ace there. So once you invest in one, then you're going to start to see the energy that we see here. Stop trying to please everyone. Stop trying to do everything. Focus on work-life balance. Focus on yourself in this moment in time. It's okay. And then we do see partners and friends coming in the future here, partnerships, I should say, Ten of Cups. It's interesting that you have to kind of go up the sort of platform here in this particular card. So I think that what's going to be interesting over the course of maybe the next month or so is paying attention to people that go the distance with you, that were willing to take the journey, the good and the not so good. Those are the ones that are truly there for you. And if anyone isn't, then it's time to sort of like let them move on, go your separate ways. So if I were to just summarize what's going on in this entire spread here, when we look at near future and outcome, they're very positive. Page of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, I see big opportunity that's starting to well up right now, and I see love and support. What you're being asked to do is this is the tug of war that's also existing possibly between you and this other person. Find your balance. These are two evenly and possibly overly evenly matched energies. The Boss card and then the Queen. So two queens, basically. That's a lot. And sometimes it's difficult for the energies to coexist. The Empress really likes to have her way. And the Queen of Wands has a hard time listening or engaging in new things, seeing things from a different point of view. This is possibly you. This is probably the other party because it's in the environment. So one thing that you can do is give the person a little bit more freedom or a little bit more flexibility, but you also have things that you're going to control and you're going to rein on. So this will be sort of interesting to figure out that dynamic for those of you in an existing relationship. But for everyone else, it's understanding that you can call the shots, even if someone else thinks you can't. In fact, that's the opportunity, is to get past that lack of vision and support. Okay? In doing so, I see something cool on the horizon, whether it's a job or love, something cool and worth this journey, okay? That was a lot that we covered there. So what are some things that some of you are going through at the moment? Throw out some questions. I'll pick a different deck of cards and see if there's one that feels good and feels like it would be collectively good for everyone. All right. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle while you guys are weighing in on that. I'm glad that you guys are laughing at my two queens are a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot of power struggle. So it can work, by the way, when you have that energy of two strong personalities. It's just a matter of realizing that I like to talk about in relationships, it's actually great if you can pull in forget about twin flames, look for a twin star. And there's a lot of those in the solar system. There's double and triple star systems. We're one of the few that has just a single star. So two stars can shine brightly without destroying each other. So that's the goal, and to see that each of you is bringing a different light and different energy. For the person asking about love, I already covered it in great detail at the beginning, so just rewind and you'll see that. Let's see here. Why? Okay, I did look at career, but why don't we look specifically at resources? I see that. And then we'll take a look at that, and then I'll look at some other stuff, and you guys can keep putting stuff in the comments, and I'll scroll up afterwards. All right, so for those of you that are looking for just increasing resource, this is important. We're in an inflation period right now in the world. Things seem like they're, everything's more expensive, and it is. So let's see if there's a couple of notes on how to increase or maximize existing resources and pull in new ones. All right, well, the good news here, we've got a lot of confirmation in future states that things are on the uptick for many of you that are tuning in, because I keep getting like either a court card with pentacles or like the 10 of pentacles, which is fantastic. Each of these is reversed. I'm just going to read them upright because that's showing to me tentative energy, and I'll just talk about how to make these upright. It's actually advantageous that the 10 of Swords came through reversed. For some of us, this can be understanding that we made some poor sort of decisions when it came to money or career, or just sometimes maybe we were a perfectionist and we felt like it was either all or nothing. This all or nothing stuff doesn't suit you anymore, and it's about letting go of that. So you're rising above, it's a new day, we can see it behind the swords, we see the butterfly. So you aren't the sort of like sum of your failures, you're basically what you decide to do with experiences that didn't go your way. So this was context. This is where the power is. The reversal of this was earlier saying that some of you are just exhausted. So everything that I've been talking about today is how to find your inspiration or your mojo. So get behind something that really inspires or turns you on energetically, and you're going to see almost an immediate return on that. It's like suddenly you were off the radar and then now you're blipping on and getting bigger and growing. So the Ace of Wands is saying invest in an idea or a passion or something that gives you a sense of like, I want to do this. If you don't want to do it, that's your litmus test. Don't do it. You're going to be more successful and get more resources with things that you feel more attached to. It's just common sense here. So this card is confirming that. Go where the passion is. And you don't have to do this alone. The next job, the next opportunity can come with the aid of a friend, a family member, or an existing coworker. I got some of my best jobs with people. It was word of mouth. One of my first best jobs I just got on my own, but each subsequent one after that, it was usually I knew someone, or I had worked somewhere that they knew somebody and they were like, oh yeah, this is great. So it is about connections, and definitely work on that networking, and don't be afraid to ask. So it looks like things are on an uptick for you. It looks like people are involved, like that you'll reach out to someone and they can, if they don't know the right person, they'll connect you to the right person. But for most of you, if you want to be more successful, do something that you like more. And it's not an overnight change sort of thing. It's something that you have to take your time to ease into. All right, let's take a look and see what other things you guys talked about here. Let's see. Stepping into the unknown is a great one, actually. I like that. So let's take a look at stepping into the unknown. So the way that I'm going to restate this question is moving into the sort of energy of ambiguity or the unknown and embracing it, embracing possibilities. So what's the messages around embracing possibilities here? Yes, that's all good. So change is a necessary component to growth. Many of you are finishing up something. This usually indicates school or work. The reversal of this is saying that for some of you, you were hoping for more recognition, or you invested a lot in something and you didn't get back what you thought you should. The cool thing with this is that there is no wasted lesson. Whether it is, again, you studied something and you went into a different career path, you never know how that's going to serve you in a future possibility or post. So I talk about my past school sometimes here too. So like I studied journalism, and it's one of the most important things because I'm communicating every day here on this channel, and I have to ask questions. I ask you questions, I ask the cards, I ask my guides, I ask your guides. So it's all about being curious. So that's the whole reason that I decided to do journalism on some level. And then I got another degree that was about like film production, and what am I doing here but producing video each and every day. So nothing's a mistake. It isn't what I thought I'd be doing, but it's better on many levels than what I thought I'd be doing. So if you open yourself up to, so maybe you studied psychology and now you're working in, a really different and like maybe you're in corporate. I wish more people in corporate careers had psychology, or maybe you decided to go into law enforcement or something like that. These are fields that actually need people that are sensitive, where we're lacking it. So you never know where something that seems odd could actually really suit you well. So that's what I'm picking up on here, is that you are actually very well prepared for the current change in your life. Whenever you step into a change, yeah, it feels like the rug was pulled from underneath. Things are topsy-turvy. That's why the world card is upside down. Your world is literally, or metaphorically turned upside down. And it's just about embracing that. We see the roses growing in each and every corner of this. And it's basically saying, with time, with care, I'm going to be able to flourish again. And the main thing here is keeping up the pace, which was part of that. This is a community card, but it's not always illustrated as one. Each one of those wands was thrown by another person. In some decks, like the Little Prince, we actually get to see the community around them. There's a couple of other ones I can't remember, but I think 2 or 3 of my decks of cards show people in this. I think the Arcus Arcana may. I think that it's either Wildwood might have it as well, or at least it shows the potential for people to show up. So you're not alone. Other people are going through this change with you. Talk to them about it. And realize that you don't need to have external validation to know that you're doing a good job. It's nice to have when you're starting something new. That's the number one thing you want to make sure. Like, you need to hear you're doing great. So it's hard to convey that, but when somebody gives you positive feedback, you could say, that really means the world to me, because I need to hear more of what I'm doing right. And if there's areas of opportunity, that too. Give me the feedback so that I know. Some of you may just need that validation. So anyway, you're doing fine, and you're going to go into this well. You will keep the pace. I think the main thing is to make some friends and connections, and start to feel like this is home, like this is going to be okay, right? One of the things with my dog that I've done is walk the new neighborhood. You have to check out different places. You have to just sort of get settled, talk to new people. New sort of energies come into your life, whether it's work or a home, or completely deciding to move for, like to a different country or to different province. Those changes can invigorate you, and you are set up for success on this. All right, so let's see what else you guys are asking about. I'm going to pick ones that are going to be good for everybody. So let's see here. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Trusting intuition is always good. So I might look at that. And the environment is an interesting question as well. All right, so I'm just going to pull some cards here, because no one is pulling itself out of the sort of thing here. So let's see here. All right. So what else should we focus on today? Balancing. Okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles coming through, helping us find and make the right choices. So if you are stuck between what you want to do, what you should do, looking at a couple of things where you're figuring out like, I don't know what to decide. So we're going to look at past, present, future for what to decide, and see if I can give you some insight on that. All right. All right, so looking at past, present, and future and influences around energies of like being imbalanced. So let's see where the main imbalance thing, as we look at the Hanged One here, is about, for some of you, impatience, wanting to see things manifest a lot faster. So I'm actually getting that some of you might be trying to rush something to completion. Don't do that. The Hanged One or the Hanged Man comes through to remind us that everything has a rhyme and a reason and a time and a season, so don't push it. Be present, soak in everything that you can from this experience, from this moment in time, and see where that leads you next. As I'm looking at the past and the future, and this could be the Two Pentacles here, we have wanting to go after something that really, this can be love. Some of you want to put more energy into love and relationships, or want to put something into a more creative energy. But the challenge is you've built something that's predictable. So it may be easier to stand still and be where you're at than sort of like go into the unknown. This is kind of like piggybacking off of the last card. I keep emphasizing that going where the heart is will be a good thing, but maybe there's a way you can bridge the two together here, which is, how can I follow something that I'm passionate about without losing control? How can I make this happen faster because it's easier to stand still? So pulling one card across all of them is, you can't have everything. The devil is coming through to say, this is a card of making choices. So instead of trying to kind of like do all of this, let's just pull a card out to the side. I'm basically, I'm doing a partial Celtic on this one. So it is about communication here. So what we really need to do is to reach out and say, this is what I want, this is what I stand for, this is what's going to happen. And if you can do that, then I feel pretty optimistic about you being able to get what you're looking for. But why is there an imbalance here? That's what I want to know. Because some of you have to see it. You are hoping that everything can be proven. So the Two of Pentacles is basically being clarified by the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is, I don't see it, I don't believe it, or I don't understand why I'm not getting this yet, going back into the impatience. So patience and passion are the keys to success. The devil comes in when we are impatient, or when we just say, forget about it, I'll do what's easy. So you're very much being asked to take a step towards your passion, speak up, be patient, know that things take time to grow. That World card had all the roses need to be tended to, okay? So there we go. All right. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to focus on. I like to keep these a little shorter because, you know, we're going to have a regular monthly tomorrow and a weekend as well. So this one, I just kind of want it to go wherever it needs to. Nine of Pentacles. This is actually a card of independence. So some of you might be, and it's also a card of success. I'm going to ask a question. I normally don't do times, but this is kind of what popped into my head. How long will it take, since we had all of that energy around impatience, how long will it take to get to the Nine of Pentacles? The interesting thing is you're already there. The Hermit actually carries with it a star. The star is a pentacle. You add that extra pentacle that she's wearing around her neck, and you have the 10 pentacles. So what I'm getting is that you're there, but that you may not see it. You may not believe it. And one of the most important things in manifestation is believing in what's possible. And if you can do this, I see, like, again, an ace can be 1. It can be 1. It usually wouldn't be a 10. It would be 1. So like within the next week or in the next month, you can accomplish what you're trying to, or you can start to see some traction on it. The timing is pretty fast. We like an ace. We especially like an Ace of Wands. It's showing current growth. So basically what I see here is that nearly there, already kind of there internally, but need to just feel like I can do this. I'm doing this. This is happening. Really kind of talking yourself and psyching yourself up into making something happen. And then you see it. And we see the city on the horizon there, beckoning you in, okay? I like to do something special. It just came to me in these readings, and it's the question you're afraid to ask. Your fear. It could be your fear. It could be your uncertainty. It would be the thing that you would want to talk to me about, but not talk to everyone else about. So this is sort of like, yeah, the question you're afraid to ask, but we need to see. And another way to state it is if you don't operate from a fear reality, and that's a good thing, what does Spirit want you to focus on? What aren't you focusing on that you need to focus on? So for those of you that don't work with fear, that's good. Let's look at this. So what should you be focusing on, and what do you need to pay attention to? So this is really interesting. We've been getting all the aces. We got the Ace of Wands, now we have the Ace of Pentacles, now we have the Ace of Cups. You know, I talked earlier, and it's worth looking at my Magician card, one card pull for today. It's on the shorts area, or you can go to any of my social media, and I'll have it posted on social media. But today's August 25th's one card pull was the Magician. It's the second time this has come up this month, actually. Both times it's been reversed. Today's message around the Magician was understanding that, you can't do everything for everyone. It's important for you to really stake a claim and make a decision, because what's coming through with that energy, because this is all about today, and we're going to vibe off the magician a bit. The magician can do almost anything that it sets its mind to. And as such, when you pull the magician for yourself, or when I pull it for you, it shows me that a lot of people may want to tap into your energy, or kind of like have a piece of your time and space today. So you can't do everything for everyone, and you need to have boundaries. And the big boundaries here, I think a lot of it's going to come from people wanting time or money or a skill or a service from you. When you say no a little bit, it frees you up to have more fun, and it frees you up to be happier, give some time and energy to your heart, do something that you love. If we kind of look at it outside of the magician energy, for some of you, opening your mind, keeping an open mind and trying something different. The Queen of Wands is very closed off when she's reversed. So staying open to new job opportunities, open to new offers, that's going to be important. I do feel like you're on a very positive trajectory, but there is a stubbornness or an attachment to the past that could be keeping you from going there. There could also be, as I said, someone that's tugging at your time and energy. This Queen of Wands, she showed up a few times, so she could say, I want more. And there's only so much you can give. And so saying enough, this is all I can do for today, and then saying thank you, but this is all I can do, and seeing what she does with that. Because the whole purpose of today is to get you into this positive energy of the Ace of Cups. So keep an open mind, be the boss as well, have your limits, know how much you can give, and don't give beyond that, and you'll be happier if you do that. And let me see if there's one other thing. So now let's just do the silent question. So if there's a question you need to ask me that I haven't yet covered, go ahead and ask it. And I'm going to pull a single card for this, kind of like I would do with the final card. So this is nice. If you were asking me a yes-no question, the Six of Cups is a yes. The Six of Cups in reverse is probably showing that other people around you are seeing what you can do first before you can see it. Again, something that I'm picking up on a few times today. This indicates that there is someone from the past or a significant energy that wants to come into your life. It is something that could surprise you. Maybe there was someone in the past where you were interested, but they were involved, or they were not interested, and now suddenly, because you're in a different energy and you're not paying attention, they're a little bit interested. And so you have to decide, am I still interested in that person, even though when I needed or wanted their attention, they weren't there? You get to sort of like call the shots on this. It's your choice now, basically, because there's a little bit of unrequited energy with this. Don't force something if it's not going to happen. I think it's super important to understand that it's not fun for the person that's being pursued, and it's not fun for you, because nothing comes of it. So energetically pay attention to who's interested. If someone isn't, someone else will be, because this is a card of love and support and camaraderie. So go where that energy is and don't force it where it isn't. But by and large, this is a yes. Others are seeing things that you don't see within. There's a chance for healing with parents and siblings. This is a card for children, and particularly siblings, but it can also be parents. Basically saying this is a chance to kind of heal some of that karmic energy as well. So it's a good card. Across the board, it's a good card. Relationships, whenever I get a 10 or a 6 or a 3 of Cups in reversed, there can also just be a lot of people that are tapping into your energy. They're like, hey, do you want to meet today? Can I do that? You might have every single night of the week scheduled. And so just carve out a little time for you so you don't get burned out, because you need that too. So that's what I'm picking up on. It's good. You're popular with that card. All right. Let me look at how long we've been broadcasting, because I feel like this is a pretty decent length. Let's see. Anything else yet? Rejection is protection. For those of you that watch my videos long enough, you know that. Before I wrap up, is there anything else that you guys are dealing with at the moment, something that everyone would benefit from? By the way, yes, the Six of Cups can also show pregnancy. It's a card of birthing, and it's usually multiples though, or it's pulling in you're going to have a child that was a soulmate in the past, so you're going to have a deep connection to them. So let's see. Whoever just joined, yes, the reading is for everybody, and you can go back and look. Oh, you know what we didn't do? The elements. And let's do the elements. We'll wrap up with the elemental forecast. I feel like that's a nice way to wrap it up. I was going to do a separate one. I could do that. But we're past the midweek, so I feel like we'll just do an elemental check-in since I'm doing this live. And I'll do a smaller video possibly for the new moon, like a 7-minute video for what to pull in on the moon that's coming in, I think, on Saturday. So, all right, we'll do elements right now. Feels like a good thing, and we'll wrap up after that, I think. I like to keep these a little bit more digestible. All right, we're going to look at sun, rising, and moon. Let me look at a different deck for this, and we'll see what the messages are for today. Actually, not sun, rising, moon. Sorry. We're going to do the elements. We're going to do fire, earth, air, and water. So 4 cards, 1 for each element, and then I'll break it down. Okay. Fire, earth, air, water. Almost had all majors, but even though the water one is fantastic. Okay, so let's go through this. For my fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. What a great card. So we have the star coming through, and the star is reversed, which is a reminder that it's safe to be yourself in this moment in time. It's okay to be who you want to be. It's okay to do what you want to do. There could be someone in your life that's asking you to mute or dim your light. You don't want to do that. There could be someone that is trying to encourage you to go down a path that doesn't feel authentic or real to you. You don't want to do that either. And there could be something where you're just a little bit shy about being seen. It will be okay. It's okay to be visible. It's okay to be seen. And basically this card is encouraging us to get out there and to embrace all the possibilities, okay? And so this is a time for expansion, not contraction. So we want to put you in that expansive energy, and anything that you do that brings a little bit of visibility, that brings a sense of openness and expansion to your life, that's exactly what you should be doing right now. Really good time for all of my fire signs. You're supposed to be in the spotlight, and you may be put in the hot seat for a second. Someone wants your input on something or throws you into something that you don't think you're ready for, but you're more prepared than you give yourself credit for. It's a good time. All right, so let's move from our fire to our to our earth signs. We're going to be looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Earth, you got a great card as well, very much in tune with what I pulled already for today and talked about for today. So for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, we have the Magician. The Magician is upright, and we see him in the middle of the particular deck of cards that I'm reading. And he's even like spinning on the sort of like Wheel of Fortune or a Vimana, perhaps. It kind of looks like one of those star chariots. So with this, you're spinning, weaving, creating your own truth, your own fate, your own moment. And it's exactly where you need to be and what you need to be in this moment. So never second guess yourself when you get the Magician or the High Priestess. Always focus on something that you want to create, not in investing in a fear or a frustration. So because thoughts manifest and actions manifest, invest where you see the return on the investment and stay positive as possible with your thoughts and actions. And then the Magician starts to create beautiful things. I really love all the different elements that are showing up in this card. So you even carry with it a little bit of the sun, because we have the sun here, the Wheel of Fortune or the Vimana, which would be the chariot. So it could be the Wheel of Fortune or the chariot, and now we have the sun, and then we have the Magician in between all of that. So really, really lovely energies kind of contained within that for Earth. So personality shining brightly, that would be the sun. The Wheel of Fortune, positive traction when it comes to resources. And the chariot taking control of things. So you've got like almost like in triplicate plus the energy of the Magician, which is saying focus on these things. Okay? Beautiful card, beautiful messages, good time for Earth as well. Actually, everything looks really good in this spread. So today's going to be a good day, folks. And even if the day is nearly done for some of you in Europe, it's going to be a good tomorrow. This is going to spill into the next day because I'm reading for the next 24 hours for you. All right, focusing now on our air signs here, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. you came through with the angel of temperance, which is patience. I also love that we see the temperance angel creating something here, taking those 2 cups and deciding to create something. And we see different elements here, both water and fire and air. There's no earth in it, but that's okay. So this to me shows that I'm seeing progress for you. The progress is slower than you might expect, but it's a steady burn. Sometimes it's better to have something slow burning. Like our sun will last a long time because it's not as big as like Betelgeuse or Rigel or some of the super giant, super massive stars out there that will go supernova, because the bigger and brighter and bluer those stars are, the less energy that they're not going to maintain it for as long. They can't hold up the integrity of that. But a slow burning energy can last a lot longer and do a lot more and see a lot more. So what I see for you is a slow burn, something starting, 1 step at a time. Normally temperance has 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the water, 1 on the earth, 1 on the water. So just taking a step at a time, being patient, celebrating the progress so far, and knowing that meteoric is great. So like when you can go really, really high, really, really fast, it's great. But sometimes that crashes and burns. So you're taking a nice and slow and steady, and there's not going to be that sort of fallout that would happen. So I like your path. It's slow, steady, predictable, and I see sustainability with this, which is so important. That doesn't always happen. So when it comes to love and life and resources and life force, it's coming through pretty nicely. And you're being guided, most importantly. I love temperance because it's one of the cards in the major arcana that has an angel in it. We see it in the lovers, we see it in temperance, we see it in judgment. Not everyone has an angel though, so when that's happening, know this, you're being guided. And one of the messages is easy does it. Slow and steady wins the race, okay? So keep up the good work. To my air signs, your patience may be tried, but you're doing great. You're progressing exactly as you should. All right, focusing now on the energy for water. The only element here that didn't have a major arcana, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, you still got a very fruitful card. I recently just got a hummingbird feeder. I'll have to post something on Instagram later, but it's so funny because they're competing. Like there's maybe 4 different hummingbirds, and they're all dive bombing throughout the day to get a drink at that. But what I'm looking at here is exactly the type of flowers, and we see the hummingbird in the corner that we would see here. So a couple of messages. Typically, I would see the competition more in the 7 of Wands than the 8 of Wands, but I see healthy competition here. So we see a bunch of bees, and we see the hummingbird kind of hidden a little bit in the corner. And so you're doing great, but you may be surrounded by a lot of competent, competitive, brightly shining individuals as well. Like energy attracts like energy. That's actually an indication that you're doing something well. So just keep doing more of the same. This is about maintaining momentum. That's the main thing that you want to do with the 8 of Wands. Don't get lost in the shuffle. Don't get disappointed if you're not shining all day or every day. Everybody has to take a turn. And we don't want the dive bombing that I see with the hummingbirds. But what I've noticed is they'll perch on different trees and they wait for that other bird to be done, and then they go in and then they get their drink. It's kind of funny. So everybody gets a sip. Everybody gets a moment. And the other thing here is to focus on attractive energies. So we're looking at all of these, almost look like snapdragons to me. I'm sure there's something different, but the flowers look a little bit like that. Do things in your life that are magnetic and attractive. And the key thing to be sort of magnetic and attractive is simply by being able to sort of be in your passion. Like when you are laughing, having a good time, lighting up from the inside out, that's very attractive. When you are good at doing something and you take pride in that, people really can trust and lean into that energy and think, well, yeah, let's do this. This person always knocks it out of the park. So be complete, be passionate. You can compete a little bit, but it's more about feeling just great in the moment. And that's going to take you then from the 8 to the 9 to the 10 of Wands, so you can graduate and move on to the next thing. But overall, abundant, fertile, and very much a consistent sort of energy coming through today for all of my water signs. So yeah, it's basically, it's great energy all across the board today. really beautiful. And again, it's because we have a lunar event coming through on Saturday, so I'll do something special for that. But I'm already sensing that energy coming through, new possibilities, right? I'll get my watch here, but because I have the moon times on this, so let me look it up real quick, and I will tell you the time that it's happening. So let's see if we go to. So I think it's Saturday, August 27th is when I see the new moon coming through. So we'll do something special for that, for sure. And like I said, it might be a shorter video. I'll tune into everything and give you something to take away. All right, so that, my friends, I think is a really great way to end it. We already did sort of the silent reading. I'm not going to do a meditation in this one because I just want to keep it shorter. I'm going to take a quick moment here at the very end to say thank you. Before I do that, if you like this and you want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the bonus or my upcoming Q&A videos, hit the subscribe and the bell button to make sure that you're a part of this community here. You can also join me across social media platforms. Always be careful and mindful that I don't use direct messages or give private readings, so ignore anyone that's offering that. You can give back if you'd like to, and in fact, right now, I just want to say thanks to all the folks that have done so. So let's go ahead and say thanks to everybody, and I hope you enjoyed these. These bonus readings are just sort of like in the moment, in the flow, to kind of keep us between the weeklies and the dailies, so hopefully you enjoy them. All right. Let's go ahead now, and I just want to, like I said, say thank you. So let me pull up the member tab here. I'm going to start first with any new members that might have just joined. Let's say thank you. So let's see. It looks like it's Drevabes 19. Thank you very much. Good to have you, brand new member. Royal Princess Reborn, or Reborns, thank you so much. Good to have you here. Shelly Ray, Sammy B., Ali Rogers, All That Yaz, Joan Carter Thompson, Carly-Ann DeHart, Monica Potter, Julie Pachoki, I think it is. Thank you. I'm just going to, Julie P. Susan Priam, Hyundai, and I think that's everybody from the past couple of days. By the way, if you're a new member, make sure that you scroll on my community page or on the member tab and ask your question for the Q&A. I'm not going to be able to answer everybody's, but I'll answer what I can, and then maybe I'll take some of the extra ones and do them in shorts or other videos. But I'm accepting that, and I'll be doing it sometime next week, probably the last day of the month or the first day of the next month. Okay, and now for anyone that gave super chats and super stickers, let's take a look here. We have a decent amount, so thank you in advance here. Kicking things off today was Rachel, so thank you so much, Rachel Wilson Coda, I appreciate it. Lucy Rodriguez, Julie P. again, thank you very much for both being a member and giving back, I appreciate it. Carla Cafero, I think it is, thank you. Isa Gogo, thank you. Sherry Wolf, Gina Fabiani, Jeannie Hart, Jaya Journeys, Rachel Wilson Coda, Aphrodite Goddess 369, Lovey Wynham, Autumn Strand, again Isa Ogogo, thank you so much. Yvette Sanchez, Emma L., April Rain, CM Hansen, Sherry Wolf, Jody Jones, and Ali Rogers. Let me see if I missed anyone here at the end. I think I got just about everybody. Yeah, we got everybody. So thank you so much. If I did miss anyone, I will take a look at it later and make sure that I say thanks. In the meantime, wishing you much love and light. Today's going to be a great day. I'll be back again tomorrow for Aquarius's reading. I'll be back on Sunday for the weekly collective. On Monday, I'll be doing Pisces. And then depending on how much energy I have, I'll be figuring out which day to do the Q&A. And then we'll restart the readings for sure by Friday of next week. So I'll either throw in an extra one on Tuesday or Wednesday, or I'll just do it on Thursday, the Q&A, and then start the new month on Friday. So keep an eye on my main channel page. I will announce the schedule probably over the weekend. And that is it for today. Lots of love and light. I'm going to take this little guy out on a walk because he's ready as he's throwing his toys everywhere. You want to say goodbye to everyone? Apollo, as we wrap up? Yes, who's a good boy? So lots of love from Apollo and I, wishing you all the best today. Take care of yourselves, do something kind, and do something that you're passionate about. That's something that I saw more than once today. All right, so I'm going to spend some time with this little furry guy. And in the meantime, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.